the quest for the hidden feast. In the heart of the lush green forest, there was a colony of ants. The ants were hardworking and diligent. They lived in a massive nest, carved intricately from the roots of a giant oak tree. Their days were spent foraging for food, tending to the young, and maintaining the integrity of their home. However, their seemingly perfect existence was about to be threatened by the unforeseen. The rains had been unusually heavy, and the forest floor was waterlogged. The usual food sources were becoming scarce, and the colony was struggling to survive. The elders of the colony knew that they needed to find a new source of food, or they would all perish. After much deliberation, they decided that the only one hope for the colony lay with a young and brave ant named Alex. Alex was chosen because of his determination and resourcefulness. He had already proven himself during previous expeditions, bringing back much-needed food for the colony. The elders of the colony crafted a spatial treasure map, making the location of a hidden food source that could sustain the colony for an entire year. They entrusted Alex with his map, knowing that he was their only hope. As Alex set out on his journey, he encountered numerous obstacles. The forest floor was now treacherous quagmire, filled with mud and debris from the recent storms. The streams and rivers were swollen and fast-moving, making it difficult for him to cross. He was also forced to navigate around predators that lurked in the shadows, waiting for a chance to strike. Despite these challenges, Alex remained resolute. He used his wits and agility to avoid the traps and pitfalls that lay before him. He climbed trees to cross swollen rivers and swam through the mud to reach higher ground. He even managed to outsmart a hungry bird that was trying to make a meal out of him. As he continued on his journey, Alex began to feel a sense of determination welling up inside of him. He knew that he was not only saving his own life, but also the life of his entire colony. This realization gave him the strength to push forward, even when he felt like he could go no further. Eventually, Alex found himself standing at the edge of a raging river. The water was churning violently, and the current was so strong that it threatened to sweep him away. He knew that he had to cross the river. If he had any hope of reaching the hidden food source. With a deep breath, he stilled himself and leapt into the water. The icy water took his breath away, and the current swept him downstream. He struggled to keep his head above water, failing wildly as he fought against the restless current. For what seems like an eternity, he was swept along, helpless, and chained his fate. But then, just as he thought all was lost, he felt his body bump into something solid. He looked down and realized that he had somehow washed up against the riverbank. Exhausted but alive, Alex dragged himself out of the water and collapsed on the muddy bank. He lay there for several minutes, catching his breath and gathering his strength. As he looked around, he saw that the river had carved a small cave into the bank, creating a hidden shelter from the elements. He decided to rest in the cave for the night, using his body to block the entrance to keep out of any predators. Throughout the night, Alex dreamed of his colony and their desperate situation. He dreamed of the elders, their wise eyes filled with hope and determination. He dreamed of the young ants, their tiny bodies weak from hunger and fatigue. He dreamed of the nest, its intricate tunnel, and chamber empty and abandoned. The thought of returning home empty-handed was unbearable. When morning came, Alex awoke with new purpose. He crawled out of the cave and surveyed his surroundings. The river still flowed swiftly, but he knew he had to cross it if he was going to find a hidden food source. He spotted a fallen tree trunk large against a nearby boulder, its branches stretching out over the river. It seems like the perfect makeshift bridge. With great care, Alex climbed onto the log and began to inch his way across the river. The water rushed beneath him, chilling his body, but he kept his focus on the far shore. As he neared the other side, he noticed a strange glow emanating from beneath a nearby rock. Intrigued, he scrolled over and discovered a small opening leading into a hidden cavern. Inside the cavern, Alex found himself in a world unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls were lined with shelves upon shelves of food, enough to sustain his colony for years. He could hardly believe his eyes. He had found the hidden food source. With renewed vigor, he gathered as much food as he could carry and began the long journey back to the colony. Days passed, and Alex continued his journey, carrying more and more food as he went. He knew that he had to hurry, for the longer he took, the more likely it was that his colony would succumb to starvation. Finally, after what seems like an eternity, he saw the familiar landmarks that marked the approach to his colony. His heart swelled with pride and determination as he pushed forward, his burden of food growing heavier with each passing moment. As he neared the nest, he could see the relief and hope in the eyes of his fellow ants as they spotted him. They gathered around him, their tiny bodies trembling with excitement and anticipation. With a weary but triumphant sigh, Alex deposited the last of the food into the nest floor. The colony erupted into a frenzy of activity as ants of all sizes and ranks scurried to collect and distribute the purchased food.